Hey, I tell you, I went to see a mate of mine last week. He'd had terrible trouble with his heart. I said, how are you doing with your heart now? He said, I'm a lot better. He said, I've had a pacemaker fitted. I said, that's very good. He said, I think it's Japanese. I said, what makes you think that? He said, every time I fart, the garage door's open. Now, you see, but you can't, no, you can't do that on Bullseye, can you? Oh, no, you can't do that on Bullseye. No. Hey, did you watch the last series of Bullseye where they gambled all the prizes and lost everything? Did you see that one? They're greedy bastards. I think that's awful. Now, well, they shouldn't gamble, should they, like that? When they've got that, hey, all that, they should piss off and let the other poor sods lose, shouldn't they? And have you noticed it's always a speedboat? Have you noticed that? That's a lot of good to somebody who lives in bloody Walsall, isn't it? A speedboat, eh? Oh, bloody speedboat here. Oh, bloody great. Oh. Hi. Oh, hi, there's some... People ask us, you know, they say, how do you feel when people gamble and lose everything? I say, we try not to piss ourselves. Hey? What? Look at what you could have won, you dickhead. No, hey? Hey, I tell you, I said to the wife's sister in bed this morning, I said, this has got to stop. I heard George talking to you before about condoms. You see, you lovely people, with respect, our more mature members of the audience. We didn't used to call them condoms because I used to live in Blackburn in Lancashire. You know Blackburn, it's where the M6 is cobbled. Bloody rough in Blackburn. If you see a cat with a tail, it's a tourist. And we used to go to a ballroom. Do you remember the days of the big ballrooms? Do you remember that? When trousers were slacker. You remember? And we used to go up to the girls, didn't we, and ask them to dance. We had these big bands on, marvellous bands. And always towards the end of the night, you'd had 2 halves of lager, you were through to the finals. And we were always polite then. You not remember this perhaps, but we used to come to the girls and we used to ask you to dance politely. We used to, because everybody was courteous then. Say, excuse me, may I have the pleasure of this dance? And the girls used to look and say, oh, piss off. And we used to walk back to her mates with her head down, you know. We said, no, I never asked her. No, I didn't ask her, no. No, I think it was a clinic job. But, you see. But then after that, we had all the punks, didn't we? Do you remember all the punks? That's a few years ago now, isn't it? Now we've got the travelling people, haven't we? Have you seen them dickheads on the television? We do what we want, we say what we... Did you see him, that unshaven wank? What a tosspot he was, wasn't it? Travelling people. Pay sod all tax, nothing, just leave shit all over the place and we're done. Bloody terrible, isn't it? Because tonight, you know, you should have had Ken Dodd doing this. But he's doing City and Guilds in bookkeeping. I'll tell you something else. 5 weeks ago, he had a heart attack, Ken. He had to have open heart surgery. Aye. They found another 50 grand. I'm waiting for the bastard to get piles. I'll have his bollocks off him now. What I was going to say... Hey, stop it. No, but we used to do... I know, in Accrington, I used to live in Accrington, just outside Blackburn. All the Lancashire people, you know this. In Accrington, there was a place... Can I talk to you? Do you remember the Con Club in Accrington? Oh, you know, they used to have a band there. Eddie McGarry and his broadcasting band. He'd been on Radio Mansfield. It's like working a pissing welding shop, eh? Eddie McGarry and his broadcasting... And they used to have in the gents, at the Majestic Ballroom, this in the 50s, they used to have in the gents a condom machine. But they didn't call them condoms, we used to call them blurters. Blurters! And they were just basic... There was nothing imaginative, creative about them. They were just a bog standard blurter. Packet of 3 in the thing, you took them out, put it on. Oh, yeah. I can't use them now, I need a couple of lollipop sticks to help get them. But in the days when Mr. Happy was about, you know, but they were just like sausage skit, you know, nothing. Just covered, just safety. Yeah. Not now, because we've all moved on, haven't we now? The ladies have got liberated now, and with all these sexually transmitted things, oh, hey, that's bad, that AIDS is, I don't want that again. But I'll tell you how naive we are, even now, about AIDS. Listen to this. A mate of mine was told last week he was HIV positive. He thought he'd got a heavy goods vehicle licence. He got went out and bought a pissing wagon. I did. he got, what a lovely crowd. He got a job. He was told to deliver these motor cars to Soweto. And he found Nelson Mandela's house. He thought, well, I'll try him, because he lives here somewhere. So he found, knocked on the door, and he opened the door and said, excuse me, he said, I've just got my HIV, I've got these cars here. And they addressed it, and Nelson Mandela said, have not ordered no cars. You'd swear he was here, wouldn't you? He said, no. He said, I've got it. No, I've not ordered no cars. Not got none on the list to come here. And the driver said, did Winnie order any? He said, somehow I don't think so. He said, give me the piece of paper. I'll tell you what you got to do with the cars. He read it. He said, you got it wrong. He said, it's not Nelson Mandela, it's Nissan main dealer. You can't get cross at that though, can you? Because if you do the accents now, you know, we have all these do-gooders doing this, you know. They're all over the country now, these Save the Ferret in Mansfield. Hellfire. Ridiculous. And they're all at it now. You can't talk about, for instance, I heard George, Scottish people in? Got some Scottish people? See? Now, I'll give you an example now. Listen to this. I'll tell you how daft we've got about it, right? A great race, a great proud nation, right? A lovely story about the Scotsman got up to heaven. He knocked on the gates of heaven. St. Peter said, who's that? He said, it's Angus MacTavish. St. Peter said, you can piss off, we're not making porridge for one. Now, there's no... Now, the first people to laugh at that will be the Scots, won't they? You don't mind that, because you know we don't mean it. It's like the Welsh. Have we any Welsh in? I can't stand the bastard. Listen, no, I didn't mean that. Because you know we don't mean it, you see. With the Welsh, you get more than 5, you've got a pissing choir on your hands, haven't you? Isn't it? You see, I'll tell you something. I just thought about something now. It only just came to me now. I think Jewish men are a bit bloody arrogant, if you think about it. Because they have a bit cut off before they know how big it's going to be. It's no skin off my nose, I just thought I'd mention it to you. Because my wife's into that oral sex now, she turns her back on me and talks me out of it. I was saying before, listen, we were talking about them things, them blurty things you may know about. Right. No, I don't mean that. You and me. You're a bad bugger, you, eh? Where are you from, eh? Burnley. Oh, this will be new to you then, electric and curtains, won't it, from Burnley? Hey, I know Burnley well. Hey, I used to go and watch them, Turf Moor from Accrington. I come from Accrington. I bet you've flattened some grass around East Lancashire in your time, haven't you? Hey, what? Hey, by Jove, bloody grand. Lovely. We know, don't we? We don't mean it. Come out and have a giggle, don't we? Because it's awful. You can't be careful what you talk about now. You can't talk about religion. That's a terrible business. Like the Pope, he wears underpants in the bath, you know. You can't bear to look at the unemployed. The bishops in Ireland, they get bloody Blue Peter badges for bonking, but the bishop's not allowed to do it. I pissed myself when he got caught out, didn't you? Because they're all at it, you know. They're all at it. But what a great nation we live in when you think about it. We can talk about... We must never lose sight of this. We come on here in one of the best rooms in Blackpool, right? Great audience, fabulous crowd, lovely compet, light, everything's right. Come on to have a laugh. We're not here to cause bother, we're just to have a giggle. We don't mean any of it, do we? We don't mean a word of it. Like Arthur Scargill, you see. We can talk about Arthur Scargill in the same breath as we can talk about Maggie Thatcher. Can't we? Arthur Scargill went to be circumcised about 4 years ago and he's laid on the slab and the surgeon looked at him and he said, we can't do that to this man, there's no end to this prick. You see, now... But you can tell them, can't you? Because are you all right down there? We don't mean it, do we? We don't mean it. Do you remember Charlie Williams? Yeah, what a lovely man. The only black Yorkshireman never to go down the pit. He used to come on, didn't he, Charlie? Do you remember when Charlie used to walk on, he'd say, "Hey, the rate, old love, the rate, the rate. If that doesn't laugh at this joke, I'll come and live next door to them." Do you remember that? We used to laugh about it then, you see. We got all... Now, you see him, like, there's a lot of Pakistanis in East Lancashire. A lot of them. I'd never knock them, because they work hard. Grafters. See a block of terraced houses, you open a shop, don't they? Never knock them, because these shops, they're open 27 hours a day. 36 on bank holidays. And they always have the wife on the till. They keep it in the family, don't they? Put the wife on the till with a tea towel on her head, don't they? "Oh, coming in, clever Dicky. Watty. Trying to sell you these curries. Don't be caught up. That's the only thing they tend to do. Try and beat us at cricket and try and sell us curries. Get their own back on us. If they try and sell you a Vindaloo curry, they say, "Oh, getting Vindaloo curry, very good for you." Well, butting. Oh, don't have one. If you have one of them when you go to bed, after you've had one of them, just before you go to bed, put the toilet roll in the fridge. Because next morning, when you get up and go for a crap, your arse goes down for a drink, I tell you. Oh, you go for a crap, it's a raffle. You can buy what you want in them shops, you know, they have everything. Sliced loaves, toasted tea cakes. Midnight you can go in pissed as a parrot. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hells are alive with the sound of music. I got a sliced loaf. Oh yes, sliced loaf, bottom shelf. Have you got any tasted toe cakes? Oh yes, getting tasted toe cake. But you can get an A35 gearbox. No problem. In a really good shop, you can get a book on fly fishing by J.R. Harker. You can. But let me tell you, so never knock them, you see. Learn to live with one another, because you're not here long enough. Honest, it's not worth it. It's not a rehearsal, this is it. You only do it once, don't you? Get on with it, do it, enjoy it. And if you do it tonight, and you enjoy it, you can do it again tomorrow. This woman went to the doctor. She said, "Excuse me, doctor, it's my bust." The doctor said, "Pardon?" She said, "It's my bust." He said, "Well, take your sweater off, then I can look at you." So she took her sweater off, and she was wearing one of them Tupperware bras. Didn't do a lot for her, but it kept them fresh. Frank Carson, 1976. The doctor said, "How can I examine your He said, "Take your bra off, then I can..." So she took her bra off, and as she took her bra off, one of them went... like that. The other one stayed with this. It was like a slate layer's nail bag. And the doctor looked, he said, "What's that?" He said. And she's going, "She stop doing that," she said. He said, "Why is that down?" And she said, "It's my husband, he's obsessed with my left one. It's the only one he bothers with. Every night when we go to bed, The doctor said, "But I've been married 25 years, and I've got a favourite one, and my wife's a normal." She said, "I know, but we sleep in bunk beds." You see, it's a problem. Because it's the tugging. It's the tugging and doing. How are you going to take this bloody photograph or what? Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you. I just saw it. George told me tonight before we came, and because the management of this hostel, he told me, he said, "Upmarket crowd tonight." And I looked at you all, I thought, yes, he's absolutely right. I could see some pretty girls at the front and well-groomed, lovely. Obviously, you're the sort of people, when you're at home, if you're going to a posh do, it's a bath job, isn't it? You know what I mean, don't you? You put the immersion heater on for half an hour, you save up. Have you seen your meter go round when you put that immersion heater on? Have you seen your wheels go round that? Hellfire, they piss around, don't they? It's awful. When the wife puts the immersion heater on after 5 minutes, I tell her, "Switch it off! Manage with an inch." You have done for 32 years. But you leave that immersion heater on, don't you? And they do say an Englishman's home is his castle, but it's not, it's your bathroom. You tell me if I'm wrong. You'll all have done this, 6 to 90, don't matter, male, female, don't matter. You get in the bathroom, don't you? Eh? Bolt the door, you're on your own. It's Fantasy Island. Isn't it? You stand there, eh? Take your dressing gown off, have a laugh. Maybe a search. And you run your bath, and the water's in the bath, it's red hot. You could boil an egg in it. No way can the human frame stand that temperature. But you've paid for that electric, so stuff them. You're not cooling that down, you're having it, aren't you? You're having your money's worth. You're going to have that bath if it kills you. Tell me if I'm wrong. Hand on the side of the bath, isn't it? Up with the foot, is it? You lower your foot down, you've all done this. And when your foot touches the water, it's this, isn't it? It's, oh! Yeah. And you lower your foot down saying things like, oh, you bastard. And you leave your foot there a minute, then you look down, and it looks like you've got a maroon sock on. Hey? Now you think that's cooled the water down, don't you? So you put the other foot in there, don't you? Oh, you bastard! Oh! Hey! And it doesn't stop the steam coming up, does it? All the steam's coming up, still carries on round the lunchbox and the old, isn't it? Hey? Hey, what? Must get some ointment for these. And hey, isn't it? Now let me tell you, there's no problem for us lads with the steam coming up on the old, no problem. Oh, deep joy, no problem. Well, there's no problem for the girls, there's somewhere for it to go. But us lads, girls, you're going to learn something now. Us lads, steam on the winkle. Hey, excellent. Oh, it's very good. Steam on the old, from a pole, up on the old thing. Steam on it, on the winkle. It's a greenhouse effect. Hi. Oh. After a good bath, I can write Llandudno on mine. Llandudno. And on a cold morning, it just says Ludo. I don't know where the letter's going. Hey, and then you've done the next bit, haven't you? Hand on the side of the bath, and you lower yourself down, don't you? You lower yourself down, and it's going through your mind, you're shuffling forward, and that steam's coming up. You've all done it, I can see your faces, you're living this with me now, aren't you? You're going down, and you're thinking, I'm not half going to burn my arse in a minute. And you're hanging on, you think, oh, I am. You feel the steam coming up, you're thinking, I'm going to get 2 little burns on here. Well, those lads get 2 warning burns. And the really fortunate ones amongst us get a warning burn before that. Tell me if I'm wrong. As soon as your bum touches the water, is this right or not? As soon as your bum touches the water, it's this, isn't it? Ah! I can, oof! I can pound a bit. I've never understood that. You burn your arse and your lungs pack up. I've never understood that. But then you carry on, don't you, saying things like, ask him, ref! Don't you? And what a relief when your bum touches the bottom, isn't it? You sit there absolutely still, don't you? You think, for Christ's sake, don't make a wave. And then you lie back in the bath, don't you, the old winkle bobbing, eh? You think to yourself, I'll just put some Radox in, then I can have a pee and nobody will know. You do that. Because we don't bother in Blackburn, we do it in the sponge and squeeze it in the sink, don't we? We don't bother with that, do we? We don't bother with that. Well, it's lovely to see you, and what a nice crowd you are. And we're delighted you're here on this very special occasion, because it's very special for me and all of us, because it's taking me back down memory lane, going back to the comedians. We'll have a talk about that, because we can do it, you see. We've got 4 cameras going, and he can cut all these bits out. Like when you say bollocks, you can cut it out. You can't cut that out, because I didn't leave him anywhere either side, you see. Lovely Bernard. You remember Bernard Manning? Have you seen Bernard work? Well, I did a show with Bernard. Now, let me tell you something about Bernard. If you've never seen him live, go and look at him. Don't be faint of heart. Take the kids to explain the gags. But, you know, I'll never forget, he was one of our big heroes, was Bernard. A kind of man you couldn't wish to meet. And he told this story. He was on a I better not mention the name of the show, the name of the person whose show it was, because it's video of this. But he was on the show with a very, very patronising lady. Right? It's some years ago now, and he was the guest. And I was sat where this young lad is here. And I was like the warm-up man in case anything went wrong. We're telling you two stories now. I talked to Johnny Amp, and Johnny Amp said, just tell the story. This is true. They had on, the lady whose show it was, she had a social worker from Canterbury. She had a raving puff from the Ballet Rondé in London. And on the end two seats, she had Bernard. Now, Bernard's a big lad, and Bernard doesn't take any prisoners. It's lovely. And the show was 40 minutes, and it was live. Now, there's no live television now, very little, because they don't risk it, especially with people like Bernard, you know, or Stan Boardman, who talks about fuckers coming in with Desert Connor, you know, right? You know, or Oliver Reed takes his dick out. You can't, you know. George Best tries to sit up. And that's an Irishman reminded me about that one. No. So this was live. So the story goes like this, right? Bernard sat there 40 minutes, and for 25 minutes she completely ignored Bernard. Not only ignored him, she veritably patronised him. Just, oh, I'll come to you in a moment. All this, you know. Now, fish and chips in a briefcase, one of them. Yeah. She talked to the social. Yes, so we go around every day with it, take teas to the people in the hall. And then she goes to the ballet dancing. And what do you do? Well, he said, we're doing a creative, innovative ballet now. And we're doing, we've got the synthesizer. And they're putting on the and see, all hit. And Bernard sat there like a beached whale, like this. And I could see him filling up like a barometer, you see, getting madder and madder. Because he thought, I've come all this way down the bleeding London to be ignored. And she came to him 5 minutes from the end of the show, and it was live on a Sunday night, 10 past 10. She said, Mr. Manning, what do you want, love? And I was there. She said, you're a turn, aren't you? I said, I'm a turn, love, I'm a comic guy. Sometimes make people laugh. She said, I've heard you're rather naughty. Sometimes I can be a bit near the bone. Sometimes tell naughty stories. And she said, this is live television. She said, would you tell us one now? Live television. I saw all the cameramen going, oh, fucking hell. Right? Live television for Bernard. I mean, you don't do that. That's like giving a Rottweiler bloody Roundtree's mince, that's ridiculous. Bernard said, I was walking down the street, just come out of the Embassy Club, I'm walking down the street, I looked across, I saw this blind man with this lovely golden Labrador on a harness. I thought, how nice, that dog is that man's eyes, that's very good. I'll have a charity night for that one night, because he does that every Sunday, always in a charity night. And he said, as I'm looking at the dog, he said, the dog pissed all down the blind fella's leg. And the blind fella, look, he said, I thought, they're dirty bastards, just pissed down that fella's leg, they pull a blind stone on that dog. It's supposed to be his friend, it's pissed all down his leg. What sort of a bleeding dog's that? Incontinent bastard. And he said, I couldn't believe what I saw next. He said, the blind fella put his hand in his pocket and gave the dog a toffee. I thought to myself, that's the kindest thing I've ever seen in my life. That blind man there has just been pissed on by that dog. And you give him the dog a toffee. He must think the world of that dog. He said, I went across to him and said, excuse me, sir. He said, yes. He said, that's the kindest thing I've ever seen in my life. He said, that dog of yours, that friend, he just pissed down your leg and you give it a toffee. That's very nice. The blind fella said, I'm just trying to find out where its head is. I'm going to kick it in the bollocks. Now, Bernard Manning, right? Bernard Manning. Are you all right there? We've had some time with Bernard. Honestly, we've had some time. There's another comic as well. I'll tell you a few. Do you remember Max Wall? I'm putting this in for the producer, right? Because this takes us back to like 1970. Not mine. I mean, he was a comedian's comedian, was Max Wall. He had a face. Do you remember? It had been lived in, hadn't it? By travelling people for 10 years with remodes on the vans. And Max Wall used to come on. If ever you saw his act, did you? You might have seen. I keep going back to my pal in Blackburn. He used to do the theatres in Blackburn. Did you ever see Max Wall in Blackburn? Did you ever see him? No, you know, he was good. He was a comic, you know. He was going for, yeah. He used to come on, and we used to see him in the clubs in the 60s. I wasn't in the business then, I used to go and watch him. And he never bothered. He used to come on in a pair of black tights. And he had a piano there. Do you remember it? He had the piano. And he used to walk on in these black tights, and they were really tight. It was like 2 hard-boiled eggs in hanky. With a king prawn if it was warm. And he... Keep going, you bastard. And this is Max Wall. Now, I do my impressions, but I tell you who my impressions are before I do them. Because they're crap. Right? Max Wall used to walk on in these tights, and he used to stand there. He used to come to the mic, and I used to, I thought, what a comic. He used to stand there, he used to say, hello, all right, Darwin? Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to tell you a poem. A poem. Yes, a poem. Tell you a poem. I forgot the pissing poem now. Poem! Man went to the chip shop, wanted fish and scallops. A hot chip ran down his trouser leg and burnt him on the ankle. Completely missed his bollocks. You can't tell them. Hey, we go back. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll take you back some years. I'll take you back to Blue Peter. Now. This'll take you back now then. When did Blue Peter start? I'll save you worrying about it. 32 years ago. Blue Peter, when it started. Do you remember that? When Christopher Trace used to do it. He was very BBC. Oh, and what have you got here, my little man? And he got a power station made of toilet rolls and matches, and it was crap. It was full of glue and really awful. It was just a bloody mess. And then they got John Noakes. Do you remember that? Hey, what did he do to the English language? Hello and welcome to Blue Peter. You remember that with that incontinent sheepdog, you dirty bastard? Get down, piss him down. Remember that? That's it, you've got it. Get down, Shep. You've just won a timeshare apartment in the Lebanon. Now listen. You can have a week in Sarajevo with a tank and a tin hat. We're not bothered. But you're right. Hey, come on, get down, Shep. He was a good, and he was on with I'll take you back. Valerie Singleton. Hey, that's you going back some years now, aren't you? And they used to make models, didn't they? Here's one I prepared earlier. Remember? He used to say things like, and this week, Val's going to show you how to make a vibrator out of a squeezy bottle. And all the kids are at home saying to the mothers, what's a squeezy bottle? You know. It's all altered, you see. It's like the condom. We were saying before, weren't we? We were talking about the majestic ball. I'm coming again here. We ate King George's Hall, Blackburn. You used to go there, didn't you? We used to that. But you see, the condoms now are in the ladies' toilets as well, and that's quite right. Because nowadays, liberated ladies, as you ought to, that's so you should be now. Not too liberated. I can't do with all them feminists who flatten all the lumps off. I can't do with that. Have you noticed all the advocates of that are people like Jermaine Greer? Have you seen her? Hello? Face like a bulldog chewing a wasp. Have you seen her? Cover girl for Farmers Weekly, and she's talking about feminism. Hellfire. No, keep your lumps and your bits and bobs, because we like to open doors for you. We want to see you looking pretty like you're looking. Don't be doing all that. You're right, make an effort. Most of you. You know. What was I saying then? I was saying about the girls. Now, what happens now, you see, they have these condom machines in ladies' toilets. Because if the girls feel, and I quite agree with this, because you're quite right, girls, you can be easily tempted. You know, if you're out with a good-looking fellow and suddenly you start getting old and you're thinking, I think I might... and Mr. Happy's there, and, you know, and you're ready for a bit of rumpy-pumpy. You know, it's as well if you're prepared. You don't want to be going on catching flu and that, do you? You know what I mean? So they have we used to have them in these, there were metal boxes, and you used to put 2 bob in with an anodised knob, and you banged it and the packet come out of 3. That was it. Not in the ladies now, it's a beautiful plasticized machine. You can get all sorts of condoms now. I heard George talking about it earlier on. Never mind your basic slide on front seat of camera. Oh, no, not now. Oh, no, they've got all sorts now. They've got ribbed ones, spiked ones, extended ones, coloured ones, flavoured ones. Last week, I bought a luminous one. I thought, well, I'll go on tonight. If anything's going to happen, I'll put it on and put my head under the sheets and have a read. You know, I thought I'll just, you know. But, you see, what a lovely crowd, yeah. No, I was telling you before, you see, the job is now, it's a great nation we live in, and don't get upset about it. If you see a comic on, we're never going to get it right for everybody, you see, in this business. It's just like you go to work, you're never going to have a perfect day, are you? If you work in an office, you're going to have an argument with somebody, you're going to type a letter wrong, or you're going to put a wrong note under something. With us, you see, we have the odd, so we're going to get it wrong with 300-400 people in a room. There's one or two going to say, no, he's crap on television and he's worse live. We're going to get that. And we'll lose a lot of sleep over that. You see, like, we can talk about politicians, can't we? Talk about who we like. Look at what they've done to what's his name now, bloody John Mellor. Who's the Liberal fella about 7 or 8 years ago? Jeremy. Oh, I don't like them. Rear gunners. Don't like them. Hey! Never mind the screaming. Make me have it. I don't like that, do you? Hey? What? Who put the sand in the Vaseline? I don't like that. He's a Liberal, wasn't he? I think he was a Liberal. Well, he was Liberal with most things. And what did he say when the press got him? He said, I lay face down and bit the pillow. Do you remember that? Because he thought Cyril Smith was next. Do you remember saying that? I'd have chewed the pissing headboard, wouldn't you? Oh, my God. I would. All at it. Everywhere's that. The press followed me in today, because there's a lot about. It amazes me because they can't reproduce. Why is there so bloody many of them? I can't understand it. The press came to me today, they caught me at the door, they said, are you gay? I said, I'm not even bloody happy. Piss off, I said. What are you talking about? Because you get into a television studio, you heard George saying it earlier on, if you drop your fags on the floor, you kick them to the corner to pick them up. You don't, hey? You don't do any of that and bend it down. I told you before. No, we don't do that. But isn't it marvellous? We can talk about who we want. Talk about who we want. Talk about them all. I'll tell you, anyway, now listen to this. Where else can you do this in the world? Prince Charles, right, now they're having a hard time now, aren't they? They're all having a bit, you know. Prince Charles plays polo. And it's what, the winds are from, and the horse and it. And Diane stands there. Boarded to you, he's on it, she's standing, and it's all getting a bit now. Prince Charles fell off his polo pony about 7 months ago and damaged his elbow. Do you remember reading that in the paper? Damaged it. And it was all very serious, hellfire. Prince Charles fell off a horse, took him into hospital, it's true, and they grafted some skin from his bum so he wouldn't have a scar on his elbow. That's right, it's true, it's in the papers, wasn't it? Do you realise we have a future King of England who doesn't know his arse from his elbow? Do you realise? Now, all I'm saying to you, that's the great nation we live in. You just never knock it. And when anybody starts getting at it, you look at all these other countries making the balls of it now. Hey, we don't have earthquakes, do we? Los Angeles have them. The earthquakes and fires or something. Russia don't know who they're fighting for. No. The Italians have surrendered just in case. 5 reverse gears on their tanks. Hey, I did this club, I must tell you. I'm all right. Let me tell you. Hey, what a lovely crowd. Are you enjoying it anyway? You all right? What we do, let me explain to you so you don't get... We know it's a bit warm with the lights, so we've had to put these lights on for you. We do this and then we've got a little break, and then in the second half, we've got a surprise for you in the second half. We're going to have a fire practice and piss off. You behave yourself, you naughty girl. No. Then when a fella comes on, does the splits on a blow lamp, he's very good. And then he sings Great Balls of Fire. But I did this club. Have any North Easterners in? Anybody? I know it's Durham. My pal from... Hey, my daughter went to Durham. It's a lovely city, isn't it? It's a marvellous city, Durham. I love a lot of time for Durham. There are lovely people up there. When you like this, you know, but when you get, I can tell you this, and I'll tell you this on video. We'll go on that one. I'm going to tell you this. All you people watching this video, if you want to be a comedian, right, and you're driving north, make sure your car breaks down at Scotch Corner. Right? Don't go to Durham. Don't go to the northeast, because when you get to you buggers, when you're an audience altogether, aren't you? Oh, they're hard up there. A northeast audience, because they've seen it all, you see, and they've seen all the entertainment. They're quite right. They've seen it. If you can do 10 minutes in a club in the northeast, you get a BEM or the OBE or something. I did this club in the North East. It was a Catholic club. I knew it was a Catholic club because they called the bingo numbers out in Latin so the Protestants couldn't win. And I did this club. Hey, I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe the design of the club. Now, here we are tonight in a lovely room in Blackpool, aren't we? And you're all comfy, you can see the show, you've got it'll all happen, like the dances and all the business, and the sound's good, the lighting's good. I did this club, the loser at the back, anybody who doesn't want to listen to the show can discreetly go behind the pillars there. It's lovely. It's perfect for a performer, this. Honest, it's brilliant, because we can see you and have a chat to you, see the whites of your eyes, as George said. It's lovely to see you like that. But I did this club, I couldn't believe it. I was on stage, 10 o'clock, and they're all getting in. Hey, when the boat comes, get the late back, come on, hey, go home, well, the henny, and get the hing, and get the Scottish Geordies they were. And got a bit mixed up then with the accents. And I couldn't believe it. It was the ladies' toilets were just there, and the gents were there. And I was like, we understand you've got to go to the loo and you pay your money to come in, you pay our wages. So we're not going to have a pop at you for going to the loo, or if you want to walk out, it's your choice because you're paying our bills. But they couldn't help it, they've got to go to the loo. That's where the architect had put them. There and there. And I watched, and they go in the toilet all the time along. There's this fella saying, excuse me. And this fella went and stuck it over, excuse me. And I studied it, and I realised that the women never go, or the ladies I should say, that's wrong, that women, I'm not saying, don't say women, say ladies. The ladies never go to the toilet on their own. They always take a friend. They say, come on, Mary. And they go, and I studied this, I went through with this, I almost did a dissertation on this. When the girls go to the loo, they've no decisions to make. They walk into the ladies, and there's cubicles there, and that's it, isn't it? Wash basins, hand towels, everything. Cubicles. Whatever bodily function you're going to perform, the girls, you've no choice. In you go to the cubicle, isn't it? Whatever you want to do, bolt the door, sit down, and grab the hole, make as much noise as you want. And when you walk out into the queue, you just say, it was her in that one. Because ladies don't fart, do they? We do, us lads do. We're there next, go on, give us a good one, flutter your trousers. Hey, that was a good one. We do, we try and play tunes. Not the ladies. Now I'm going to tell you something. The ladies break wind. And quite right, and stay like that. Feminists don't break wind, they fart. But ladies, they break, and you can tell, I've studied it. You can tell because you stand there and a little smile comes. You can tell. They go, what? Watch, they go. And then listen, and lads, listen, I'm telling you, I've studied it. They stand, they go. And then they walk away and let their husband take the blame for it. Let me tell you, honest. I've been to so many parties and they're standing. You know what you do? You go to a party at a house and you're having. How's the wife? All right. Children doing well. Good. Have you paid? Keep it. How's the gas? Everything fine? Yes. And I've been standing. I've done it several times. I've been with George King. We've been to parties and I've said to George, "There's one here," and the lady's been there. I've seen the smile come. I've thought, "There's one in the departure lounge there." And sure enough, and I've known what's going on. She's walked away, she's gone over here. We've all been here, we said, have you shit yourself? What's going on? She's at the other side of the room, jumping up and down. She said, I just farted. I think it's a trick. Us lads, when we go to the gents, we've no choice. We go to the gents, we walk in there, don't we, in the gents, after 3 or 4 pints of lager. Gent in me, chimney me, look at me. Typical of fatty chests. Hills are alive. Then we stand there, don't we? Dive, hand on the head on the chrome pipe. Trying to get the embassy tip down the griddle. We're not allowed in the cubicles unless we mean it. Unless it's a sit down. And what we do, us lads, you girls are going to learn something now. When we're in the gentry, we're standing there having a whittle like that. When all the lads come in, it's busy. You know, when all the lads are in, we tend to whistle. And we tend to, shouldn't tell you this, but we tend to peep over. Just to see what division we're in. Vauxhall Conference. And I was standing in this gent, and this big fella walked in. He was massive. When he walked, he was 6'19", never been bricked. When he walked in, it went dark. I thought, if he says it's Wednesday, it's bloody Wednesday. He walked in and stood in the next stall to me, standing there. I thought, I wonder how, he's a big, like, hellfire man up here. He was big, oh, aye. I looked at her. I wonder how big he's in the old, you know, the engine room. And I looked at his feet, his shoes, you know, because that's a fair indication about your tackle. My feet are a bit cramped in these shoes tonight. But as I looked up, and just as I could look to his neck, I couldn't believe it. All the wrinkles went out of his neck. I thought I couldn't understand. I thought, no, what's caused that? He did just like that. And he lurched forward. There'd been like a shift in his centre of gravity. I thought, hello, Mr. Happy's popped out. You know. Wink, and he put his hand on the thing. I thought, well, I'll have to have a look at this. You know. And I peeked over the thing, and when I saw it, hellfire, I thought he'd get BBC Two on that in the winter. Oh, hey? With the wind up his arse in colour. I couldn't believe that. And he caught me looking, he said, what are you doing? I went, I said, you're a big lad. He said, how do you mean big lad? I thought, Christ, what am I going to say now? He's massive here. I said, well, you've got 4 fingers round it. You know, I thought, I've covered it, I've saved it, you know. He said, well, you've got 4 fingers round yours. I said, I know, but I'm pissing on 3 of them. I told him. Because I couldn't stand the bother, you see. You can't have the bother, can you? You mustn't have it. And there's a lovely story about this fella, isn't it? I feel like Frank Cat, Jimmy Cricket, there's more, isn't there? As this fella went to the doctor, he said, no, me not, no. And then, no, didn't my foot up on, did it? Did it mean? Aye. Did it? Oh. Oh. And the doctor was very experienced. He knew. He said, pardon? And this fella carried on. He said, oh. When I'm walking to me, now. Why? What? And the doctor was beautifully spoken. He said, don't piss about, write it down. He gave him this pen. And he wrote, dear doctor, I have terrible trouble speaking. Could you help me? And the doctor read the note. He said, say no more. He said, I never thought about that. That's good, that. I'm going to leave that in. No, that's not the guy. No, that's just what he said. He said that. He said, I'll leave it in that. He said, take down your trousers. And this fella said, oh, they're taking my foot down. He did it off on me, and then he died of it. And then, he did it. Oh, he did it. No, do me bother my foot. Nothing but that. The doctor said, I know what I'm talking about. He said, will you take down your trousers and your underpants? And this fella said, no. He can't take him out. And then pulled the underpants. He said, I'm a doctor, I'm heavily qualified. He said, would you take your underpants and would you bend over? This fella said, oh, did he? Down there for dancing. No, and then, no, I'm bend over and you get behind me up the foot today. Oh, did he? He didn't pop off. The doctor said, I know what I'm touching. So he did. He took his trousers down, his underpants, and he's bending over in the surgery, touching that there. And it's all there, the tackle, the bulbs, everything there, like that. And the doctor did all the tests. He's bending over, he put the tea leaves on his arse. He said, you're going on a long journey, he said. And then he picked up this poker, which was lying in the surgery, stagnant. And the doctor with this poker, with this fella bending over, touching his toes, with nothing around his hand, nothing. The doctor with this poker, for want of a better phrase, shoved it up his arse. All right. He went, whoop! This fella went, ah! The doctor said, that's very good. Come back tomorrow, we'll try the letter B. Good help. Hey, Hellfire. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. You get all these daft stories, don't you? And all these alternative comics now, aren't they? All them. I can't understand them. Can you understand all them? I can't understand them. Like, we used to just get up and do it, didn't we? There's a lovely comic down in the West Country, a dear friend of mine, one of the funniest men I've ever seen. You've probably seen him on Des O'Connor, talking to you again now, called Jethro. You forgive the accent, because I know we've got somebody in here from down in towards Somerset where Jethro, right? And he tells this lovely story about his friend Denzel. Now, Denzel Pemberthy, you got it right. Now, if there's anybody from Cornwall, please forgive the accent on this, because I'm just trying to, and it's Jethro's tale, it's not mine, but it's a lovely story. My friend Denzel decided to ride his bicycle from Truro down Penzance on his bicycle. He thought, I'll have a ride on my bicycle. So he's riding his bicycle down to Penzance, and halfway down there he decided he needed to have a piddle. He thought to himself, I'd better stop and have a piddle, else I'm going to look a fool with my trousers wet in Penzance. So he thought, what I'll do, I'll stop along the side of the road and stand in the hedge or something and have a piddle against the hedge and look out into the fields, and people will see and think I'm looking at the cows in the field. Proper job. So he's riding out and he sees this wall. He thinks, what I do, I stand there against that wall, I have a piddle, and people won't know that I'm having a piddle because it's not allowed on the street with no toilet and have a piddle anywhere. And people will think I'm looking at the cows in the field. And as he got off, he put the bike out and he saw there's a hole in the wall. He thought, proper job. I put my Mr. Happy, I put him in the hole in the wall and have a pin, and it's even more discreet than it would be if there were no hole there. Because nobody can see my John Thomas. He's in the hole. I have a piddle, proper job. So he's standing, he puts it in, he starts looking, and the hand grabs it. And he looks over the wall, he sees this little 15-year-old lad. He said, you bloody tosser. He said, what are you doing there, he said. And he got hold of it, he said, listen, that's it, £5 or I'll cut your cock off. He said, you bastard, he said. And he looked down and there's another lad, he's about 11 years old, there's another old there and he's there. And he says, are you on the same bloody game? Yes, I am. He said, and there's a 5-year-old, the training 5-year-old at the end, another hole in the wall, he's at the bottom. He said, you bloody tosspot at the end. He said, are you doing the same thing there? Grabbing on, he said, yeah, and he looked at the guy who had all this, he said, how much have you made today by threatening to cut people's cocks? He said, I made £310. He said, well, you're a bastard. And he looked at the lad at 10, he said, and what about you? He said, you bloody whitey-ass reject. He said, how much have you made? He said, I made £150. Well, he said, you're a bloody bastard as well. And he looked a little lad, 5 years. He said, how much have you made at the bottom? He said, I made £5. He said, you haven't done quite so well as the other two, have you? He said, no, but I've got a box full of cocks, he said. Jethro. Bullseye, I'll never be the same again for you now, will it? Hey, you've been lovely. You've been really right, Granny. You're still comfy, nice and warm. Get your drinks in, that's it. Look, the girls will look after you. Come and get the drink. That's good, keep looking after you. Oh, how we go. I heard this woman went to the doctor. She said, doctor, I've got this lump in my groin. The doctor said, pardon? She said, I've got this lump in my groin. He said, well, lift your skirt, pushing it, and let me have a look at your thing. So she's up with the skirt down with the knee, and the doctor's in with the front end. He said, oh, he said, look at that, he said. Oh, he said, oh. He said, he said, you've got a lump in your groin. She said, I know I have, you prat. She said, I want to know how I got it. The doctor said, lump in your groin, your husband. How big is he? Has he got a big, is he sort of, what's he, how is he like, you know? She said, is that big? And that's in August. The doctor said, is that as big as it gets? She said, yes, that's all right. He said, well, that's it. He said, lump in your groin. He said, you've ruptured yourself snapping at it. Hey, wait. I'm all right. I don't overrun. I'll take you back a little way, just not too far. We talked about Blue Peter, we talked about the comedians, and lovely Ken Goodwin. You remember Ken Goodwin? So we'll have a little chat now for a few minutes, then we'll let you get on with the rest of the show, because you've been really excellent. It's a long, long time for you to sit like this. But like Ken Goodwin's still working, and Charlie, and Bernard, of course, is still doing it all, and all getting out, doing the business. We go back, you know. Can you remember? I'm going back to my friend here for a minute. No, nothing to worry about. I'll tell you how naive we were when we were like young, before we had telly. I'll tell you how thick we were. We had a ventriloquist on the radio. Now you can't get thicker than that, can you? Peter Brough and Archie Andrews. And Archie Andrews still said Gollocks, and nobody could see him. We're going after this one, because I'm not one of these acts who goes off, you know, and you all cheer and I come back and do another 20 minutes, because I've spent so many nights waiting to get cheered back, I don't bloody risk it now, right? I don't know how you do it wherever you're from, but wherever you're from, this fella's having this affair with this woman, right? And the way he's got it sorted out, she's lying down, looking up. He's on top, looking down, and he's giving her a right seeing to. He's giving her some stick. He's left the light on, 40-watt Mazda flickering, because it makes him think he's doing better than he is. She's lying down, he's on top, he's giving it all the business. Like, she said, just a minute. He went, He said, what is it? She said, I'm a little bit kinky. He said, well, I had noticed with the German helmet. And the basketball boots on your hands. Would you mind now? She said, well, she's doing with Mr. Happy. She said, would you mind biting the lobes of my ears? He said, what? She said, bite the... He said, whilst I'm doing that... She said, yeah. He said, altogether... She said, yeah. He said, all right, I will. So he's going... She said, just a minute. He went... Because he was getting going. He said, what is it now? She said, would you mind? He said, what? She said, I'm a bit kinky. He said, well, it had crossed my mind with the watering can over the top of the bed. And the rubber duck on the sandpaper. Would you mind now? She said, after you've bitten the lobes of me, she said, would you mind kissing me busts? Good God, he said, is nothing sacred? How do you mean? She said, kiss me he said, your bust. He said, after I've bitten that, she said, yes. He said, whilst I'm doing that, she said, yeah. Mm-hmm. He said, all right, I will. So he's going... She said, just a minute. He went, because he was on a roll now. He was blazing now. His bum was warm as well. He said, I can't do with all this biting and kissing whilst I'm doing that. He said, it's no good to me, he said. He said, I've cut my nose on your helmet. He said, I've got remold marks on my arse from your basketball boots. And the rubber duck's pissed on the sandpaper. He said, it's no good. He said, is it all right for you what I'm doing, the biting and kissing whilst I'm doing this? She said, what are you doing for me? She said, it's smashing. Super, great. Now, let me tell you something, girls. When you say words of encouragement like that to us, when we're doing the old... when you say things like that, it makes us feel adequate. Better than you lying on your back saying, look at the dust on them curtains. It's better. She said, have you taken any precautions? He said, yes, I've strapped a plank to my arse. She said, I don't mind. Would you mind now? She said, after you've bitten and kissed, she said, would you mind tweaking my bum? Good God, he said, it's pantomime time. 10 miles to London and no sign of Dick. How do you mean? She said, just stroke it down gently and tweak it up. He said, what, after I've bitten and kissed? She said, yeah. He said, what's I'm doing with the inner with Mr. Happy? She said, yeah. He said, all right, I will. So he's thinking back, kiss, drink back. So he's going... She said, just a minute. He went... He said, what is it now? She said, it fell out. He said, I'm not surprised. I forgot what I was doing. Good night. Thanks for coming. Safe journey. God bless you.
Absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show this evening, Mr. Jim Bowen. Jim Bowen, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic.